This video is a virtual walkthrough of my solo show, Lindy Hop, which is on display at the Corkran Gallery by the Rehoboth Art League through November 1st, 2020. Before we look at this show, let's talk briefly about what Lindy Hop is. If you are unfamiliar with this term, it is a style of dance that evolved from the Charleston and incorporated elements of European and African dances. Lindy Hop specifically was born at the Savoy Ballroom in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. The Savoy Ballroom was America's first integrated dance hall, where white people first learned about this spectacular dance that was invented by black people. The Savoy was open from 1926 through 1958 and was home to dancers such as Frankie Manning and Nora Miller, who went on to perform internationally and appear in several films. Frankie Manning was known as the ambassador of swing, and Nora Miller was called the Queen of Swing. They were both members of Whitey's Lindy Hoppers, who toured internationally and competed at the Harvest Moon Ball, which was the championship for swing dancing. The Harvest Moon Ball brings us to our first painting in the show. This oil and canvas is titled Sonny and Margaret. On the left is Sonny Allen, who won the 1958 Harvest Moon Ball, and is one of the last surviving original Savoy dancers. On the right is Margaret Badiachuk, who won the 1983 Harvest Moon Ball with her partner at the time, George Lloyd, who passed away in 1991. I should note with this show that it was very important for me to capture all of the dancers as they are in their contemporaneous likeness. I didn't have any interest in painting these dancers as they once were. I hope you'll agree with me that this was the right decision. If you look at these two dancing legends, they're wearing the actual amazing outfits that they wore for the photo shoot that I based this painting on. The style of Lindy Hop that they were performing for the shoot was very upright and smooth, as is typical for the late Savoy period. The next piece in the show also includes Margaret Badiachuk, but this piece is her dancing with Charlie Meade. The two have been dancing since the 1980s, when the Queen of Swing herself, Nora Miller, suggested that they dance together in a competition at the Village Gate nightclub. The two ended up winning the competition, and the pair have danced ever since. I took several hundred pictures of these two dancing for this painting. I would like to note the incredible athleticism that both dancers displayed. Some of the moves that they did would not have worked as paintings, because no one would have believed them. The energy of their kicks, their twists, they were simply unbelievable. The piece is oil on canvas, and it's titled Margaret and Charlie. The next oil painting is The Swing Out. It's the largest true figurative work here. I do have larger pieces on display, but those all have an architectural focus. This piece focuses on the lovely pair of dancers, particularly, I think, the follow. In addition to being a dancer, this woman, Amy Helene Carlson, is an actress and occasional lingerie model. I feel like she really brings a great level of energy and drama to the dance floor. You can see the joy in her face. So, funny story with this one, neither person actually met prior to the completion of this painting. I painted them together based on reference photos that I took of them dancing with other people. Andre, the lead, was dancing with his wife, and actually I was the one who was dancing with Amy Helene in this reference. I think I actually looked terrible in the reference picture, plus I don't really enjoy painting myself, so I used Andre, who just looked fantastic. The next oil on canvas, or I should say the next two, are actually both 8x10 minis. The one on the left is Charles and Laurel. So this show is focused on Lindy Hop, but I made it a point to include dance styles that are outside of the current definition of Lindy Hop. This style in particular is a dance called Balboa, which was developed at the same time that Lindy was developed, but on the other side of the country in California. The painting on the right is also a portrayal of Balboa Dancers. It's called Lollies, as this is the move that the couple are performing. This couple, Andre and Michelle, were actually one of my first dance instructors when I got serious about taking lessons a few years back. You'll see them in a few other pieces of mine. This 24x36 oil on canvas end of song is an award-winning piece that shows dancers at a song's finale. Usually swing dancers like to throw in a dip or some sort of fancy thing at the end of a song. I wanted to show that. This painting also has special meaning to me, as I developed it at the time of my Grandma Kathy's passing. So this is End of Song. This next painting, Black Nails, is a somewhat peculiar miniature painting that depicts a dancing pair in the middle of an inside turn. My friend Jake and Jenny posed for this one. What's peculiar about this piece is the follow Jenny almost completely obscures the lead. When you're painting partner dancers, you have to figure out which one is going to be the star of the piece. In this case, it's definitely Jenny. Follow lead is an oil painting that depicts two ladies dancing Balboa. Really, two ladies practicing Balboa. Anyone who wants to get good at dancing needs to practice, and my series wouldn't be complete without showing this. This painting went through several revisions. It was an exercise in subtlety, so there's no big moves here. No dramatic gestures, just two people dancing. For those of you who attend dance lessons, I hope this feels true. The Closed Come Round is a painting that I didn't plan on doing. I photographed my friends Sean and Lainey dancing Balboa. Now, Lainey was my Balboa teacher for many years. Sometimes I'll socially dance with her, and whenever I would throw in a weird move or something that didn't fit the music, she would giggle. And it would make me laugh or lose concentration. Here I caught something similar happening with her and Sean. I don't remember exactly what happened here, but hopefully you can imagine something that fits. This painting is the centerpiece of the show. It's titled Jazz at the Django, and it's one of two pieces that are set at the Django, which is a real subterranean jazz club in New York City below the Roxy Hotel. The band playing here is the New Alchemy Jazz Orchestra, led by Danny Giannacucci. The venue really does look like this, although I will confess a lie that you may notice in several of my paintings. I made the dance floor a little bigger than it is in real life. In real life, the ladies on either end of this painting would be dancing up against tables, but I wanted to show some big and dramatic open connections. I spent 9 months working on this piece, so I wasn't going to hold back any drama. Next to this painting is a charcoal drawing called A Study of Lindy Hoppers. It's a scaled study that I used to work out the posing for the painting that we just looked at. I created many studies for that painting. I thought it would be really nice to show some of them in the show. The next piece is an oil painting titled Jive Party at the Back Room. The Back Room is another real venue in New York City. It used to hold jive parties where people would dance a really upright and fast form of swing called rockabilly jive or rock and roll. And this painting is Free Spin. My friends Morgan and Joseph posed for this. I wanted to show off the energy that these two dance with. Also, I love the movement of Morgan's dress. This next piece is Blues at the Great Hall. This painting depicts two blues dancers on the second floor of the Great Hall of New York City's Metropolitan Museum of Art. A random fact about myself is that I have a professional engineer's license in mechanical engineering. I was working on this painting while studying for the exam. It's quite a difficult exam, and I didn't have time to get dancers to pose for this, so Brianna agreed to pose with me. If you look closely, you can see that my hand is holding a remote for the camera's trigger. I tried to make it less obvious in the painting, but I still think it's noticeable. I mean, or not, maybe you don't see it? This next painting is titled Go-Go. It seems odd for the show, honestly, and I wasn't going to include it, except for the turn of current events. Of course, there's a pandemic, and people can't responsibly social dance, unless they happen to live with a dancer, which is rare. In light of this reality that we all live in, I decided to include a solo dancer in the show. Lindy Hop in the Library is, as the title implies, a depiction of two Lindy Hoppers in the library. In this case, it's the library at the Salmagundi Club, a fine club where I happen to be a member. Brandon and Shanna here are performers in a group called the Big Apple Lindy Hoppers. They were started by someone we mentioned before, Frankie Manning. The group actually still performs dance routines that he created. This next painting, Cut a Rug at Ladere, is an oil painting based on one of my last nights out dancing before the COVID lockdowns. I was with friends and we had just left an art opening that I had work in. Edith Hazel of the Cut a Rug Quartet was playing at Ladere, so we went there as a after party. This painting is based on several pictures that I took of the band. Actually, seconds after I took the last picture, Edith, who is a friend of mine, set down her mic and danced with me. She is actually talented enough that the band finished their verses, we danced a few minutes, and then she went right back to singing as if she still had breath to spare. Next is The Bar at the Django. This painting is the other piece that depicts the Django Jazz Club. This composition is more yellow because so much of the space is candle lit. These two bartenders, Brandon and Jose, might be the only two models in this show who don't Lindy Hop. I'll have to ask them. I shouldn't assume. They're extremely talented bartenders, though. Their cocktails are art, but I'll have to confirm if they Lindy Hop or not. This next piece is a charcoal titled Turning Steady. It's Sean and Lainey, who were in other paintings. I was at one point considering painting this image, but I'm not certain that I can actually improve on it. It's just so strong as a charcoal. If you are a Lindy Hopper in New York City, you need to make it a point to, at some point, dance with the subjects in this next painting. Lelaine and Mians. They are both incredibly joyful dancers, and I wanted to portray their fantastic dance floor chemistry in this painting. The next painting is Rock and Roll, which depicts a pair of rockabilly jive dancers, Tony and Jess. Both dancers live their lives with an abundance of style. This painting and the next show dancers who are dancing to very fast music and are in the zone. Like here in Lollies 2, a very fast song comes on, and your focus changes. Maybe you aren't keeping perfect form, but you're responding to the music and feeling the beat. That's what these two pieces are. Well, I hope you liked my collection here. Big thanks to Nick Saratori and everyone else at the Rehoboth Art League for putting on this show. If you like any particular pieces of this show, or just want to see more of my work, you can follow me on Instagram at BrooklynSeth. Or you can just go to my website, brooklynseth.com. Thanks.